Number two, disciples will love one another. John 13:34-35, a new command I give you, love one another. As I have loved you, so you must love one another. By this, all men will know that you are my disciples, if you love one another. These are some familiar verses for us, but why might this be a new command? You thought about that? The old command was love your neighbor as yourself. But the new command is to love your neighbor as I have loved you. Jesus is saying this. This is a higher standard, to love as Jesus loved, right? Selflessly, sacrificially, laying down your life for others. Why would Jesus want sacrificial love to be a major defining characteristic of his disciples? Because seeing sacrificial love in his followers would point people to the source of that sacrificial love, which is Jesus. And only someone who's recipient of that kind of sacrificial love can continually offer it to others, even enemies. We looked at 1 Corinthians 13 last week, and I know we're taking a little break from that, but Paul speaks of this kind of love. He says, it is the most excellent way. And now I will show you the most excellent way. If I speak in the tongue of men and of angels, but have not love, I'm only a resounding gong or a clanging cymbal. If I have the gift of prophecy and can fathom all mysteries and all knowledge, and if I have faith that can move mountains, but have not love, I am nothing. If I give all I possess to the poor and surrender my body to the flames, but have not love, I gain nothing. So I read this command from Jesus in John 13 from earlier, that there's an understanding that this is primarily Jesus speaking to the 12. You guys love one another. You 12 disciples love one another. But from there, go on to love others also. Because God so loved the world that he gave his one and only son, right? There's a diversity in the body of Christ, and it's beautiful. And there's no other religion like this, really. Different countries, different ethnicities, different personalities, different backgrounds, all called to be in one family together. But it can get flat out hard, right? To bring in people with different just backgrounds. Unless your master gives you the command to not just pretend to get along, but to agape love, to selfless, sacrificial, Jesus-like love one another, to lay down your life for each other. And keep in mind, just right there, hearing this is, among Jesus' 12, is a tax collector and a zealot. Two extremes within the Jewish community on how to engage with Roman occupiers. And Jesus says to those two, lay down your lives for each other. People will know about my love for you the way that you love one another. There is a more excellent way. There's something more important than political views. What can we learn from this in an election year after what happened yesterday? What can we learn from this? Love one another as I have loved you. People see this kind of radical love. They have no explanation except that Jesus is real when they see it. This is interesting. Roman Emperor Julian in the 4th century, he wanted to sort of restore Rome back to its faith in a multitude of deities and pagan gods. And he wondered if it was even possible. He's quoted as saying, Christianity has been specifically advanced through the loving service rendered to strangers. The Christians care not only for their own poor, but for ours as well, while those who belong to us look in vain for the help that we should render them. Isn't that interesting? In other words, how can a pagan religion hope to gain followers when Christianity is setting itself apart as being, so sacrificial, so powerfully offering love in a way that causes people to really question what is going on here? This is a power that I've not seen before. If you and I want to be authentic disciples of Jesus, we must love one another, especially those in the family of God. It was interesting. We took a group of about 40 students to Colorado on spring break last year, and I remember typing up an email because I thought, okay, it's a 16-hour drive. About 8 hours down the road is Kansas City. Who do we know in Kansas City? And I fired off a couple of emails, and I was just like, man, can I even send this email? We need a place for 40 people to stay for the night on the way there and on the way back. We can offer you nothing. We'll eat up everything in your house. And, I was like, gosh, I was kind of hesitant as I finally typed out what I was trying to say here. And I remember reaching out to this guy, James, and I don't even know James that well, but I know he's a believer. I know he loves the Lord. And James, within a couple of days, responded back, and he was former military, a detailed logistical plan. They will get here at this time. They will drive 0.4 miles to this Kansas City barbecue restaurant for dinner. Upon completion, they'll show up here. Each of their beds will be laid out like this with their pillows. And then when we showed up, it was like, I think every bed like had a little note had like a little welcome to my family, my house. And it was just, this guy went above and beyond. And I remember just being so humbled. Like, wow, like I can't believe anyone said yes to this. And not only there, but on the way back too. We said that we were stinky and it was just tired. We were probably not really that engaging, but they were loving on us. And it was amazing. I remember some of the students just said, how do you know all these amazing people? We even had a group of folks who were sort of considering Christianity on the trip, and they were stunned. I love being able to tell them, this is what disciples of Jesus are like. This is what disciples of Jesus do. It doesn't make any sense. It's inconvenient, but this is what they do, and it's a beautiful family to be a part of, even with all of our shortcomings. Friends, the call of Christ is to see and meet needs. It's to do things that are outside the box to show love. It's to seek reconciliation when there's been an offense every time. It's to look for ways to bless each other, to be hospitable, even to love our enemies. Let's do things that are inconvenient to show love to others. This is what Christ did for us. We can do it for others as well as his followers.